This is a Headgum podcast.
Well, you have your choice of seat. Wherever you want. Of these two.
Of these two?
Yeah.
Where are you going to sit?
The other chair that you don't sit in.
Oh, okay. Maybe this one?
Okay.
Is that right?
Sure. Of course.
Or should we switch and then our shirts will contrast our chairs better?
Yeah.
That's a good idea, right? Show business.
Show business. It's all about contrasting shirts.
Yes.
Okay.
It's half the battle.
All right. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I want to talk about that crazy prison prison gig we had. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. This is refreshing. I don't think I've been in this chair in a while.
Did I steal your chair?
You did not. I gave you the option. You
Okay.
took your option. I don't have a preference. It's cold.
Yeah.
Still chilly. I'm usually complaining
nice.
about how it's not cold enough, and today it's a little brisk. I was just in New Orleans for a couple days, and it is. I don't understand. I love the city, great city, but how do people live there during the summer? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
I had to take 3 showers, and get new shirts.
It's a 3-shower town.
It's a 3-shower town. That's their slogan.
What were you doing there? Just
I did a
shows?
show at Tipitina's with,
nice.
great, with Sean Patton and Shane Torres.
Oh, excellent.
It was really fun and great venue, great crowd. Also, nice section of town. I'd never really stayed in the uptown part, but it's certainly preferable to downtown. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. I liked it.
Yeah. I love that city.
But 90, and look, I'm from Georgia, so I understand the heat and the humidity, but they're below sea level, so it doesn't like cool off at night.
Yeah.
Like in Georgia, at least if you're up in the mountains, you're Atlanta's like 1,200, 1,300 feet. It's like it cools down a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this,
no, it's nonstop. Just got to go with it.
I mean, yeah, you have no choice. But well, actually, you do have a choice. You can move.
You could move.
You can move to Phoenix.
Yeah, that's worse, right?
Yeah, it's way worse. Not because of the weather, but because it's Phoenix as opposed to New Orleans.
Yeah, it's
New Orleans,
charmless.
one of the top 3 cities in America, in one of the top 3 worst states in America. Crazy, right?
So New York's one of the other cities. What's the third city?
Bloomington.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I'm a professional. I don't know. Let's see. In the States, I'd say New York for sure, number 1.
Yeah.
And New Orleans, very special. I guess everything else is like they're places I really like, and I like Boston and Massachusetts, but I wouldn't want to live there. I lived there for a long time. I wouldn't. But I'd live in Seattle.
Seattle's a good city.
Yeah, I'd live in Chicago. I really like Chicago.
Chicago's excellent, but I have hang-ups about Chicago because being from Cleveland, it just seems. I think of Chicago as sort of super Cleveland.
Really? See,
like
I see Cleveland as Cleveland and Chicago as super Chicago.
That's probably more accurate.
Cleveland it just seems to have gone off track like before I was even born, and they just never got back on track. Is that fair?
I can't agree with that. Just I'd be in trouble. No,
With who, the mayor?
I'm the de facto mayor. No, it's a great city. My problem with Cleveland is just that everyone moves further and further out in the woods. So there's
a lot of that.
Not a lot can happen when people keep doing that.
Well, I love the Guardians Stadium. They got a good team. Guardians is a good team. And I like the new park.
Yeah, that's a good park. I don't know what it's called. They change the name every season.
I think it's an ointment. It's currently it's like it's not preparation H, but it should be. It's not preparation H, but it's an ointment. It's some like or maybe Gold Bond powder. Gold Bond powder.
That would be a good one.
Field.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Yeah. I'm always surprised when I learn that the naming rights to whatever the Bitcoin thing at the Staples Center used to be, but now it's like a Bitcoin thing. And it's like, you find out that the naming rights went for $100,000 and you're like, why doesn't somebody just step up and buy David Cross Field? Like, I'll pay $100,000.
It's doable.
And what is it, like AAA park? I'll do that. David Cross is awesome. Field. Okay, and we're coming live to you from David Cross is going on tour. This is the entire name of the field. The end of the beginning of the end tour, starting in September, going through 44 towns in America. You can find out where and how to get tickets at his website, officialdavidcross.com. Field. It's a mouthful. You have to say it every time.
Is that why? That's the thinking though? Is that you like Progressive Field or whatever? Which I think maybe the Cleveland Field was called.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah.
It might still be called that? It is called that, maybe.
I think so.
But why? So they do that so you think of the product? Well,
I can tell you, I go to a number of baseball games a year, a number of sporting events, and I certainly watch a lot on TV, and I always patronize the sponsor. So I switched my insurance to Progressive. I have Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. Let's see, Truist Park in Atlanta. I bank with them.
You shift everything
exclusively. It works. It really works. What are some other ones that I'm missing?
Those are the big ones. Because I always think I like to think that I reject whatever the thing is.
No, but whatever it is, I
go all in.
Yeah, always. It does.
I wouldn't
work.
reject David Cross, the name you had. I would be on board with that as a fan and a friend, if I can say that. I fully support it.
You can say it. I mean, not legally, I believe. And
yeah.
What date? What's the day? It's September. Is it? Oh, it's still August. No, you can't say it.
Ah, shit.
It's starting in September. You can say it.
Okay. I'll hold off.
Oh, look at those shoes.
Yeah, I just got them.
Those.
They're Diodora.
Yeah, fancy.
It's Italian.
I'll say.
But a friend of mine.
Sexy.
Yeah.
Wait, a friend of yours is
a
the
friend
designer?
Of mine.
Is Diodora?
No, he's friends with a guy, and they were kind enough to send me these.
Oh, nice.
And but I like them.
Yeah, they look well. They're stylish.
They're stylish,
and they're comfortable.
And I run in them.
Good.
And I can run.
What are you running from?
A lot. Just my a constant anxiety, I think, is the real.
Do you have anxiety?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you take anything for it?
Not regularly, no. But I just try to go running, and it helps.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
But I do have a stash of Klonopin in the
house. That's some serious stuff. That's like when you're going to fly and you're anxious. Take a Klonopin.
Yeah, I got prescribed it like a few years ago I was having a particularly anxious period, and I used it for a few days, and then I stretched it out for years, just little nibbles here and there when I needed it.
Jesus, how big was the actual dose? It's like the size of a cake?
I don't know. It was just like a jar of things, pills.
Right.
I don't know why I struggle to think of pills.
You've got an emotional block on it.
Yeah.
Because you're not proud of your behavior.
No.
And the person I'm assuming it was a doctor who prescribed it, not a friend of a friend.
No, it was a doctor.
Same guy who got you the shoes.
I don't know. Same guy.
Yeah,
shoes and Klonopin for everything.
Have you gone back to the person who prescribed it to you and said, and things are better, things are worse, things are the same?
I went back to him recently and asked for another prescription, but it had been 4 years, and he said, clearly you're not abusing this if you made
Yeah.
one prescription last. So I guess something of, I don't know.
So do you get like an attack or a, do you just get overwhelmed sometimes or?
Yeah, I think I just have phases.
Yeah.
Where I'll have a couple weeks. I think I a few weeks ago, I was just like, what did it? I realized it wasn't like, it was just the fact that we even have to go through this election. I was just like,
yeah.
Regardless.
I think there are a number of people in that.
Yeah, who feel, I just was sort of like, and it wasn't solely that opposed. But once you like sort of like back up the truck, then you allow all sorts of things to just jump on.
Sure.
So I was I could use a little, but I think I've only had a couple nibbles, as I like to say, a little half.
You're not one of those people who's like, you're fumbling for the thing and it's spilling all over. And the shoes mitigate a lot of the anxiety.
Yeah, I just go running.
How can you be anxious with the shoes?
I know. Look at these. I didn't even intentionally match the socks.
That's a
pulled them out of the laundry bag.
Happy accident.
Yeah.
Dave, is there anything, we're talking to Dave Hill, is there anything you'd like to plug?
I'm glad you asked. Yes. I'm doing a residency at Soho Playhouse starting September 16th.
Here in New York City.
Here in New York City. Of my show, Dave Hill, Caveman in a Spaceship. And 4 weeks. And I want everyone to come.
Sure. Well, I can vouch for you. You're a warm-hearted, clever, funny person.
Oh, thank you. It's very kind of you.
And let's talk briefly about the prison gig we did.
Yes. Rikers. Technically a jail.
Yes. I mean, that's a matter of semantics, I got to say.
Yeah. I mean, really.
They had murderers there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the semantics, you're right. Because it's really, I think the way it works is the murderers go there and then after sentencing, then they'll go to prison. With credit for time served, of course.
Right. It's so Dave and I were part of a number of us, like a good 7-8 different comedians.
A lot. More than I expected when you're rolling into a prison.
Yeah, with all these, and it's Rikers, which is
legendary.
Yeah, renowned. Oh, and we were there doing a show for some prisoners who had been vetted, or I was under the impression that they were like the least harmful people, but it turns out that wasn't quite the case. And
I didn't know that.
And we were there we each had a dog, and it was like part of a program that hooks up prisoners with dogs to take care of. Great, worthy cause, great idea. Happy to do it, happy to be a part of it. And, very cool thing to hook up these really violent folks who, I wonder if violent and folks has ever been
I think it should be. I mean, I think that's the lesson you learn.
And then you bring a dog, and we were each given a dog to bring. There wasn't a stage; it was just some, fold-out metal chairs, and then we went up, and there was actually a mic that was unnecessary because there were only how many prisoners were there? 12, 13?
At most,
At most, yeah. It was very awkward, and there was a long, long, long wait because of security, and I can't remember where I had to go, but I was getting very, very nervous. It was a thing that I couldn't be late for. And also, shockingly, Rikers is not the easiest place to get into or out of. It's not like you can call a Lyft.
I was wondering, when you left, I was like, how is he going to get
I got a ride to one of the ladies who was part of the Rikers thing, gave me a ride to outside the gates. And so we kind of flew. She flashed her badge, and I got my pass and everything. We went. There's like 3 different gates and security things, and then And then once we got into, civilization or whatever you call it, she dropped me off and she said, "Oh, you can get a lift. A lift will come here." And I did. And there was one in 7 minutes. There was it's in kind of a remote area. And I went to, I can't remember what I had to do, but I was definitely like, I had to do, it was like pick up my daughter or get on a plane or one of those things where like, I can't miss this thing.
Yeah.
It was, unfortunately didn't stick around. I was the second person up. And I would say it was not one of my best sets.
It was strong. Don't do this to yourself.
It was the biggest reaction and laugh I got was when the dog that I had taken up there pissed on the floor. That entertained everybody far more than my.
It's always
what
good.
I think is clever. And but yeah, we got a really, really late start and that's when I found out, like, oh, these guys had to be cleared. Like, we had to go, and they were waiting for the news to show up and all this shit. And, and there were all these, to get into the actual prison complex, there was all these, rules, and it's like, no water, you can't bring in your own water. You can't, your phone has to be on airplane mode, and
no phone. I was surprised.
No phone.
Could we bring our? No, we couldn't bring our phone.
Yeah, you had to leave your phones and no guns. They took my gun. They took my guns, plural. They took all of them. I gave them back, but you can't bring. I mean, it was like, what am I on a flight to LA? This is prison, for fuck's sake.
Well, you can't. I did it. We were talking about this. I did a couple of shows at Sing Sing. A few years ago, and with that, I didn't know why they were being like everything. They're like, "Do you have everything?" So I brought a guitar in, and I was like, "Yeah, I think I got everything." They're like, "No, do you have anything that you leave behind or that someone grabbed will be turned into a weapon,
right?
No matter what it is." And I was like, "Oh,
right, I'm
not thinking." Correctly.
Oh, and I remember how I found out. It was the woman who drove me back. So she's pointing some stuff out. It's a fairly large complex. She goes, "That's where all the, the blah blahs are. Those are the sexual that housing is this." And I was asking her some questions, and then she said, "Oh no, they were all. This is where you was." Murder and violent assault or something like that. I was like, really? And I was surprised because I thought it was going to be like the cream of the crop, as it were.
Sure, yeah.
But it was the cream of a different crop. It was a cream, and which makes me think my little quips about like, well, look, I'm free, so I can, was like maybe not the best.
I love that.
Because everybody's just staring at me, not a smile, just like, whatever.
I thought it was very funny. I mean, I might have told you about this that day, or stop me if I did, or maybe I'll just tell. When I did Sing Sing the first time, Laura Kraft, Laura.
Yeah, Laura's great.
She's amazing. And so she really wanted to come, and I had no idea what to expect. And so it was her and my friend Carl Arnheider, and we went out there, and there was like 300 guys.
Wow.
And
I was expecting more of that.
That's what not to
like
say
a show.
Yeah, I don't want to say like, well, I was disappointed with the crowd at Rikers, but I was sort of expecting like a big room full of people. And so she went out there, and she at one point she waved me to come on stage, and she's like, I want to get off stage. I'm done. And I didn't understand. I was like, I thought it was like part of a bit, and I was like, okay. And then
this is who? Laura?
Laura, yeah. And she was, wearing a beautiful dress, and like she's all, show business. She was there to perform. And I can see like she's very upset and I go back out, and I performing, and I see this corrections officer go over to her, and And afterwards, I'm like, what was going on? And he's like, oh, well, he could see I was upset. So he came over and he asked me if everything was okay. And I said, what would you say? And she said, I said, I just got a little scared. And then he said, well, you know why you got scared, don't you? And she's expecting like some insight into the human psyche or something. She's like, why did I get scared?
You're a pussy.
And the guy, he points at the audience and he goes, those guys are all murderers and rapists.
Yeah.
And
it was her vibe. She picked up on it.
Yeah.
She read the room,
that's
as it
what
were.
she said. Because they weren't saying, they weren't heckling. They weren't saying anything.
No, I think that was, in my experience at Rikers, it was just the staring that was so disquieting.
Yeah, I have to admit, I kind of just went, just stared kind of over their heads a little bit. And,
yeah. I mean, you can't help but make eye contact unless you do that. But there was tough room, as they say. But my favorite moment, and it wasn't a great experience. It was an experience, but it's not like I walked out of there going, man, I'm really glad I did that. I changed some lives out there, But was the woman who was hosting, who is a nice enough lady, but kind of, and you find this a lot, where somebody who has done a couple of stand-up gigs and fancies themselves a stand-up, but isn't really a stand-up, and hosts something, and then does a bunch of time. And she was talking about, I was in jail too, and she was talking about this thing that happened with a woman who she let stay at her place, whatever, long story short. And at some point she's saying to these guys, and she says, and I quote, I don't know about you guys, but I'm terrified of AI. And that made me laugh so fucking hard. Like, yeah, I don't think that's really on their minds right now. I don't think these guys in Rikers for murder are too concerned about AI taking their jobs or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I don't know about you. I don't know about you guys, but I'm terrified of AI. Yeah, that's all we talk about. Oh man, I hope they don't put words in. I hope there's not a fake Charlie Sheen someday. Yeah, that was the highlight of the gig for me.
Good,
but nice enough. Everybody was planning it and trying. It was a well-meaning.
Yeah,
Don't know if it did a lot.
But we touched one
dog,
one dog
out there.
I had a great dog that day.
My dog was not great, and it was, and I'm a little, and I acknowledge it, a little prejudiced against those small, pocketbook dogs, and I just don't like them. And I have a dog. I had a dog before this dog, and I had a dog before that dog. And
what is your current dog?
Where?
What kind?
Bernedoodle. My wife was highly allergic to my other dog, who I had before I met her. So
that was like kind of a black lab mix.
Who, Ollie?
Yeah,
Ollie was a rescue dog, and we did the DNA swab, and it came back. There was nothing that was 50% or over, but the most prominent things in the mix was Akita and Rottweiler. Oh. So she was awesome. She was a great dog.
Yeah, I met her once or twice.
Yeah, she came to a couple of gigs sometimes. When I
remember I saw you did a gig with her at Comics on stage. She was on stage with you.
What? I probably had nowhere to put her. I mean,
I think that was Janine was doing a show and you came and did a set.
I probably walked down. I was living in East Village, so I just walked down there. Yeah, and I was like, I can't. I got nowhere to leave her, so I'll just bring her on stage.
Yeah, you can't put the dog in the dressing room. The dog's like, "Where's my guy?"
Right. Yeah. Now we got a really goofy, big, muppety dog that we had to get a hypoallergenic dog for my wife. Mm-hmm. And it was for my daughter. It was a surprise for her birthday, for her 7th birthday. So we drove about 5 hours This is back in January or December. I don't know. It was cold. It was snowing up like about an hour outside of Buffalo, and went to this place in the middle, and it was like a Christian town, like almost bordering on, like you could see it like a bad horror film, like it's. So we go to this. What was it called? And as you're coming in, it's tiny, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you're coming in, it's like not Independence. What was it called? It was like a cutesy name like that, and there's just more and more. It's tiny, right? And more like kind of Christian themed. There's a Christian school, like Christian high school, kind of boarding school, and then we go into the hotel that we had reserved, and it was like one of those places where there's nobody there, and they leave a envelope with your name on it in your room, and there was nobody there. It's all Christian stuff. So there's like Bible trivia games and Bible books for the kids,
wow.
and it's all Christian stuff. And then when we went to the woman who breeds these dogs, we went to her house, and there's just it's filled with those kind of like sort of platitudes, and today's your day, and Daniel 7:12, and like just stuff all over the walls, and things about with Jesus all things are good, and whatever. And it was just inundated with everything was Christian, and it was just I mean, nothing outside of that, but you could see it's like that kind of Twilight Zone, like, what's going on? And like, hi, how are you? Welcome. You can't leave now. That kind of thing. But so yeah, we surprised my daughter, and this.
Did she know that's why you were going to this town?
No, she knew that it was for her birthday. She knew it was she was going to like it. She knew it was exciting. And then we have this on we have it on video, but so in this woman's house, and there's like, it's sectioned off a little doggy gate, whatever. We go into the kitchen. It's all big open area house, just like Christ would have liked it. And
sure.
And then there's the mom had I don't know, it was like 12, a litter of 12, and these are all like 6-week-old puppies, 5 weeks old, right? And she goes in, and she thinks that's the present, is just she gets to hang out with a bunch of puppies. And she's all excited, and they're all hopping all over, and we said, no, Marla, you can pick one, and this will be your dog. And she got so excited, and she was thrilled, and this dog who basically picked her, they picked each other, who she named Rose Fighter Jet Cross is the dog's name.
That's a really good name.
It's a good name. That was her name.
That's surprising.
Rose Fighter Jet. And then my favorite thing is she gave her the surname. Like, I don't know what dogs with this, but all right. So
where did Fighter Jet come from?
I don't know.
It is the soft, hard combo.
Yeah, I like it. So, and then this puppy that was, I mean, honestly, the size of, a Beanie Baby type bit of teeny, is now like a fucking pony. Not even 9 months yet. And, yeah.
Do you guys go hang out, run around, go to the park and stuff every day?
Yep. Took her there this morning. It's first time in a while because we had to have her spayed. So we had her spayed, so she had stitches that we had to be mindful of.
Some downtime.
She was going nuts because she wasn't able to run around. She's a fucking hyper, goofy, doesn't know her own size, strength, and also moves like a puppy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And just super goofy and lopey and hyper and bouncing around and so yeah, this morning I took her to the dog park. First time in like 12 days, so that was good.
Oh wow. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite. I do that every morning with my dog. Oh, I was going to say. To be clear. Yeah.
What is your what was your dog?
She's a boxer pit bull. Let's see if she.
Oh, I'm not interested. No.
No, there. Come on.
Oh yeah. Oh, very nice.
Yeah, she's a sweetie. That's Lucy.
Look at that. She's bigger than I expected.
Yeah, she's about 65 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, that's bigger than I. Oh yeah, she looks. What's her name?
Lucy.
Oh, this was really funny.
Lucifuge is the full name.
That's much better.
Yeah.
This morning, this is for real. So I was at the dog park. It's not really funny. I'm going to amend it. It's more interesting than funny. So at this little complex in between these two big buildings, Brooklyn. So there's a dog run, there's a big dog run, dog run for little dogs, and then some grass and greenery and stuff, and then a big playground for kids. Right, that's divided. And this woman was in there with her dog, and she goes, and I'm sitting on the bench, and she's like, Apollo, come on. And not 2 seconds later, a mom, 25 feet away in the playground, a mom was like, Apollo, let's go. So it made me think you could do a little quiz about, Brooklyn. Is it the dog's name or a kid's name?
That's amazing.
Apollo and Apollo, immediately.
Wow.
It was pretty good.
Apollo, kid
let's
named
go.
Apollo.
Apollo, come on, we're going home.
That's a lot of pressure. A kid named Apollo.
To name your kid after a dog that you...
Yeah,
in
the dog's
next park.
right over there.
Yeah, it's weird. A lot of pressure.
Dog's more fun, probably.
Yeah.
We can assume.
But eventually, the dog's never going to pay you back. The dog's never going to contribute outside of there just being a dog. And hopefully you have a kid, so the whole reason anybody has a kid is like, I'm old, feed me and change my shorts.
Yeah, that's true. I have concerns about that.
Or
my dog's not going to step up. And
oh, they're not. If the dog won't, and it's just going to take and take and take and take and take and take until you kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think when that day comes, I'll probably
sooner better than later, right?
Yeah, all of us together.
Are you gonna party?
Have a big death party?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I hope we just get taken out by a truck or something.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best.
Take her to the BQE. Let her loose.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. Oh.
How old is your dog?
She's 9.
Okay, so
she's getting up there.
Bred or rescue?
Rescue.
Yeah, so
mutt as we call it.
Right. So she'll
when did
live
that
a little
change?
Longer. When you actually rescue them.
But I didn't.
A mutt is a mutt, and a rescue is a dog is a potentially a mutt that you are rescuing from the kill shelter.
But isn't that every?
You know what's interesting? I'm sorry to interrupt, but kill shelter. Those are two words that don't really. The kill shelter.
That's no good.
They're two. They don't belong together.
Well, my dog.
Violent folks kill shelter. We discovered
you get
two
a
of
few
them.
good days, and then it's going to go south.
Kill shelter.
My dog came up in a van from Tennessee, and I was out of town, and I couldn't pick her up. And they're like, "Well, the van's going to pull up to some street corner in New York, and you have to be there to get her." And I was out of town. I'm like, "Well, what's going to happen if I can't be there?" And like, "Well, she'll just go back." In the van. I was like, well, then what happens?
Oh, no.
I'm like, well, it's probably not good.
Well, wait. They drove all the way up. So what happened?
I was able to get a friend of a friend to scoop up the dog.
Wait.
And I got her a couple days later.
Wow.
It all worked out.
Man, when it was such a crazy experience. I started writing about it, just to have it written down. But do you know Sarah Egan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sarah and I were going out, and it was one of those things where we had gone out for a long time, broken up. It was a bad breakup. And then, I don't know, a year later, we got back together, and then it was super intense, right? And we decided we were going to get a dog, and I wanted a dog, and so we ended up getting Ollie, and she found her through this site, much like your Tennessee thing. I think she was part of a litter that was in West Virginia, and then there was this woman that Sarah contacted, who facilitates this for a fee. She'll hook you up with whatever, and we have to. We had to meet her. It was in Jersey, like over by Grove. That's the section, right? It's like it's past.
That sounds
Hoboken. Like it's out on the PATH train.
Oh yeah. Like
I want to say Grove Station or something.
Jersey City, Grove,
something like that. Yeah. So we go to Jersey City, and then we get there. And we go up, there's two girls, I want to say like 9 or 10, and they're like bouncing a ball off of a stoop stairs. And we go up to ring the bell, the address we've been given. And
this sounds like a trap, by the way.
The whole thing is weird. It gets weirder. She goes, they're not there. Okay. She's like, yeah, she went to the beach. Okay, but she should be back any minute. Okay. And then they continue to do the ball, right? And we're sitting there, and like, I don't know what is going on. And then after a couple minutes, no more than 10 minutes, this car pulls up, and there is the angriest looking butch lesbian driving, and then this other woman gets out and she's like, hey, Sarah, David, hi, I'm Jenny or whatever. And she gets out of the car and she goes up, and she's the mom of one of the kids, and she opens up. It's like, I'll be there in a second, hang on. And there's this woman who's driving, who's just glowering, right? And and they were at the beach. Did I mention that?
Yeah.
All right. So she goes up and she lets this girl in and whatever, and then comes back like 5 minutes later. She's like, yeah, get in the car. Where's the dog? Oh, the dog's at my place.
Oh boy.
Okay, where are we going? And she's like, Secaucus. Like,
Secaucus.
So we get in we're like, what the fuck? And we get in the car, and I remember a couple things. One is there's sand everywhere. It's like a shitty car, and there's sand everywhere. And then there's tons of Stevie Nicks stickers and things hanging from the rearview mirror, and tons of Stevie Nicks shit everywhere.
Actual
like things you
so it
merch
was
or whatever.
like with her like actual photos and pictures. It wasn't just
no. It's like stuff, memorabilia, whatever.
Yeah.
Things you bookmark, whatever.
Yeah.
So Stevie Nicks shit everywhere.
I didn't know if you meant just like dream catchers and feathers and lace. And
there was some of that, but it was all Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
Themed.
Sure.
And the woman driving doesn't say a fucking word to us and is clearly pissed off. And there's this weird energy and tension. And we're driving, and occasionally like, where are we going? Because they seemed somewhat harmless. They obviously was, the girl knew that we were going to be there or whatever, but so it didn't seem like we were going to be kidnapped or anything, but it was super sketchy. And we're driving further and further away from, civilization, as it were. We're driving further and further away from residential streets and, 7-Elevens and gas stations. And we're, and we're in like the really nasty part of Secaucus, just sort of overgrown with vegetation that has been cut back, and, chain link fences and disused warehouses, and it's just fucking, there's nobody around. And we go, eventually there's like a smallish kind of flat 1-story warehouse thing. We're alongside this on like an access road. We drive up, and she drives into this, like there's nothing there. It's just cement and asphalt and a warehouse. And we're really like, what the fuck is going on? And then in a corner is a house, the only house probably within a mile. And it's a house within the confines of this fenced in warehouse area. That's not small. It's not like, it's not like a couple storage units. It's whatever it used to be, and cracked asphalt and all this stuff. We round the thing. She parks in front, and she goes. So she parks. We go to get out. She's like, "Oh no! You stay here. I'll bring the dogs out. It's just it's crazy in there or whatever." And this other woman has not said anything. She's just staring. She's so pissed off. I'm assuming maybe she didn't tell her once they got to the beach, like, oh, right, we can only stay for an hour because that's in my head. Like, that's why she's so pissed off. And that doesn't even talk to, it's weird. And we're sitting there and I'm like, I can get out of the car though and just sort of be out. I can hang out, right? I don't care. Okay. Sarah, let's get out of the car. and we get out. This woman goes in and it's the kind of house, the kind of Jersey house with I don't know, there's a word for it where it's like you walk in, it's a vestibule, but it's sort of, it's like you see it a lot in 50s houses where it's like got the screen kind of door and then there's like a good, 1.5 feet, 2 feet before the front door, but it's enclosed.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a very 50s, 40s looking, with a kind of metal. So it's like one of those things. She flicks on the light and we hear not only, also I forgot to mention this, the sun is starting to go down. The sun has started to go down on this journey. And
oh man,
she walks in and you hear every kind of fucking animal you can imagine. It's birds and dogs and cats and weird shit. And then you can see, because she flicks on the light, and you can see shadows of all this craziness that's happening. And then and we kind of sit on the little steps. And, at this point, it's been a long time. And we're like, what the fuck is going on? And then she brings out, there's 3 dogs in the litter. And she brings out the dog that would become Ollie, and Ollie's all licky and and we had made this thing like, don't just jump at the first dog, let's just see everything. Brings Ollie back, brings out and they're sisters, and brings out the 3 dogs, and we're like, can we see the first dog again? And the first dog came out and was just super licky, more than the other ones, and we're like, okay, this is her, we're gonna take her. And then she gave us a little crate as part of the money because it was not cheap, and then took her on the path back to East Village, and that was that.
Wow. And was this, they bred this dog, or these were?
No, this was, she was like facilitated. She clearly gets animals, and then I think that's how she makes her money, and then sells them to people. She had an online thing. That's how Sarah found her. So she, gets animals, and
but just had probably had like Nile monitors and stuff in there.
Yeah, it was one of the weirdest. And again, nothing bad happened, but just every element of it was like, what the fuck is going on? and at any moment could have been weird. Like, it's the kind of thing where if they legitimately, got a flat tire or the radiator blew or whatever, you would really start thinking like, okay, this is a fucking setup. What is going on? This is not cool. And I don't want to seem like a paranoid asshole, but come on, what the fuck?
It all worked out.
It did.
How did you find this person?
It was totally through Sarah online. Some I don't know what she Googled, but it was to get a dog, rescue a dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would just go on Pet Finder late at night.
I think that was it. Pet Finder. Oh. I'm pretty sure. Oh, yeah, okay. Pet Finder.
Yeah, I would just go on there. I still do sometimes. Just go, like, I think they changed it, but you used to be able to put in like different breeds and be like, what? So I was just like, what would a boxer pit bull look like? That'd probably be a beautiful dog. And that's how I found my dog. Found her and her siblings.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if there were pictures. Probably were, I guess, but I don't remember. But I know it didn't take long, and Sarah was the one who did that stuff and showed me or sent me the links and was like, what do you think of this? Like, great,
I don't know, how long did Ollie live?
Well, she lived to be 15, but I talked about this in a couple specials ago, but I kept around longer than I should have, and I kind of knew I was doing it. The last 3 months were just like, what am I doing? But I just couldn't pull the trigger. Literally, I shot her in the nose. No, I couldn't. I just couldn't. And I look back on it and I was like, I should have done this 6 months ago, But I mean, she was in a diaper and her hips had the whole thing had. She was just falling apart, and I had to walk her up and down the stairs, and it was just bad. And it was like, what's the point? And then we made the decision, and we had her euthanized in the house, and which is a heavy thing,
Yeah. But I think a nice way.
Yeah, no, it was great, and she was out of pain, and there's like 3 steps to it. You get a sedative, and then you get a thing that slows the heart rate down, and then you get the final, whatever it is, and then that was it. And what's really surreal is her eyes were open the whole time, and then so the doctor, and then and she had been going to the same vet for a long time, and the woman, the nurse assistant who was kind of monitoring stuff, just started bawling, and that's when everybody broke down. Everybody started crying, and the doctor, and then my wife, and I didn't. I'm a strong man.
Sure, yeah.
I've been raised to not show emotion.
Same.
It's weakness, and but yeah, her eyes were open the whole time, and then she was listening with a stethoscope, and then she went, okay, Ollie's passed or out of pain or whatever her phrase was, and that was it.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I had her cremated, and I gave the ashes to a homeless person.
That's a beautiful ending. These are for you.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
that's hard.
She would have wanted this. Yeah. So there you go.
I'll take it.
Oh, there's Ollie. There's a picture somewhere. Where? Isn't there a picture here? There was. My daughter and Ollie. Somewhere around here. There used to be. I'm pretty sure there was. Well, I mean, I say a baseball card with me on it, but or there was a photo, wasn't there? I'm almost positive. There was. Look at some past episodes. It's back here. No. Anyway, well, that's rude. That's pretty fucking rude.
Someone walked off with it.
Someone walked off with a picture of my daughter hugging my dog. Anyway,
that's cold.
Yeah. And then our daughter took it way harder than we imagined. I mean, really we were not expecting it, but it really bummed her out. And that's in part why, we're like, we're going to get you another dog. And yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I got a lot of material out of it.
Well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
How it worked out. No, I can't even think about it.
Yeah. Well, you've got time.
Yeah.
And if it's not a bred dog, it'll have potentially will live longer.
Yeah, I think we have some nice time ahead. But it's weird having I've had family dogs and stuff, and wasn't attached in this way, but she's like,
no, this is your dog, and you rescued it.
Yeah,
there's a real, it, you feel it all the time. You're always aware that. You rescued this dog, and there's an attachment there that maybe you project onto it.
Oh, it's massive. I used to maybe spend an extra day somewhere, after doing shows or whatever. And now I'm like, next plane. Yeah, because like my girlfriend, I can talk to her. Like, you're
Yeah.
good? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you. But the dog thinks I'm dead every time I leave. It's just like, oh, had a nice run with Dave. It's
Yeah.
over.
There's a Peanuts. No. It was something Charles Schultz wrote about, and with a little strip about how every time you leave, the dog doesn't know you're coming back.
Yeah.
The dog does not know even after years and years and years. The dog doesn't know. You know you're coming back.
Yeah.
The dog doesn't know.
I tell her I'm coming back.
Does she speak English?
Not well.
That's part of the issue.
Yeah.
You got to sign them up. How many languages do you speak?
I speak English is the main one, and then I probably have what I'm guessing. I have like a dog's understanding level and a few other languages, and what I'm guessing, like my dog, I can do that in like German and Spanish,
and she picks up on the signals.
No, I don't speak German to the dog. I'm just saying, I'm guessing, like the amount of English that my dog knows
is the amount of German
in the way that she can listen to
know.
conversations. That's what I like to think I have in German and Spanish and a few other. But I could be wrong. There's no way to know, really. I can order snacks
in German.
In German,
like what? Order me some snacks.
Ein Bier, ein Casserole.
One beer,
casserole. I mean, it's limited menu.
Yeah, I was going to say I've never seen a casserole offered as a snack, but I mean, well, different strokes, right? Different culture.
Yeah, casserole house, Haus. Here you go.
But so that's snacks in Germany. If I go to a bar,
lousy with casseroles. Yeah,
casserole. So, and what happens if you order a meal? They give you a little tray of nuts.
I mean, it's mostly, sausages and not enough. I mean, I don't eat that sort of stuff anymore. But when I first started going to Germany, you'd think that it's going to be like Oktoberfest everywhere, but it's not.
Well, that's because you're an ignorant American.
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
And when
I think it's like the Meineke ads. Like all of Germany is like the, those, they took the word Meineke and created a whole ad campaign based on a German, Austrian, I'm not sure, guy who says Meineke about it, the key to his car. Meine key for mein Automobile. You've seen the ad campaign.
Yeah.
The guy with a bad sweater.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then, well, that's Germany in a nutshell, basically.
Yeah. And now I switched because they own the naming rights to Buffalo Bills Stadium. So now whenever I see a Bills game, I switch my muffler to Meineke.
I like that you have these allegiances.
It's not even. It just works.
Yeah,
I can't tell you. It's
easier.
not even an allegiance. Like, I remember seeing a game at Sensodyne Ultra Whitening toothpaste for adults field.
Sure,
and that's all I use now until the next game I go to.
Well, you do have nice white teeth, I gotta say.
No, I do not, Dave.
I don't know. They're pretty good. They could be worse.
They could and have been, but I have terrible, terrible teeth.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you go to see the dentist?
That's the problem.
You don't?
No, I go weekly.
Weekly? Wow.
Yeah, and there's really no reason to, and then so it's all. No, I have. That's one of the things my father gave me was shitty British teeth. He gave me his shitty British teeth.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
genetics.
They don't look bad to me, in my medical opinion. Oh yeah, that's rough. No,
I tell you, they're not good. All right, Dave Hill. Let's see. Sure.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is that my rating?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So I end each episode with a question from my daughter.
Oh,
Okay.
excellent.
And here is the question. Here is the question for you, Dave Hill, who is going to be doing a month-long residency at the Soho Playhouse, not the theater.
Yeah.
It's in London.
Yeah. But this is I did a run there.
Are they affiliated?
No, I don't think so.
I did
could be
a
wrong.
run at the Soho Theater. It was pretty great.
Yeah, it's a great theater.
And my favorite thing about all that stuff was the Nellie Dean at the end of Dean. Like if you come out of the theater and take a right, and you go down to the end of the street there, right before you get to the park.
Yeah,
which is on your right, and there's that little Irish bar. So the Nellie Dean is a pub on the corner on Deeb, not far from Soho Theater. And I would go there, and there would be like just arbitrary, random day, time, like some of the most talented, brightest minds in British comedy. Right? Or Irish comedy. And just hanging out, having drinks, and nobody was bothering them. I'm like, this is at that pub in that area, because there's a lot of posts houses there, so a lot of editing and sound ADR stuff. So and a lot of the business folks are over there. So it was just crazy. I'd go in, and I'd be like, these are legends that are sitting here. No one's bothering them, and like just hanging out, it was great. All right.
That whole area is like every day you would think it was a major holiday, like around 4:00.
Oh, well,
like
yeah. People just hang out and drink.
Spilling out.
Yeah. It's great. It's one of the things I love most about the UK. Okay. Dave Hill, this is a question from my daughter.
Now, this isn't a question she has specifically for me.
No, people ask that a lot, and I understand why. This was just she. Before I started doing the podcast, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to make an element that one of the things will be my daughter asks questions." So I had her think of some, and now she'll just say, "Hey, Dad, I got a question for your podcast." Good. Okay, cool.
I'm not arrogant enough to think that your daughter knows who I am. I want to be clear.
Huge fan.
Huge fan.
Yeah. Subscribes to your YouTube channel. So Dave, this is from Marlo. Why does ice stick to your fingers when it's cold?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh gosh. I think that if the ice is dry, your hands are slightly damp, and a science thing happens.
Science thing?
It's a science thing. I mean, it's all science. They're all science things. But I think that's what happens. That the ice takes the moisture on your hands and then brings it to freezing temperature, which causes. I'm speculating, to be honest.
I appreciate.
And it's sad because it seems like that you would think.
Yeah,
that I would know.
That's makes sense to me, I guess.
That's a really good question, but I think that's got to be it.
Okay,
it's just the little damnness. It just is like, I got this.
Okay, good enough.
Tell her not to run with that answer.
She doesn't. She's never heard this podcast.
Well, I know, but I could see how you might be inclined to be like, I actually got a really
great answer,
plausible answer.
Yeah. I think it's plausible.
I don't know. That's probably it, right? But as I say it, I'm feeling my fingers, and I'm like, they seem more greasy, grimy than damp in any way. I just had tacos.
What kind of tacos?
Bean and sweet potato.
Ugh.
I know. They weren't. It wasn't like the best.
Where were you?
At this place, Tecumbe.
Oh yeah, I know that.
I had lunch with Gary Goldman, and Gary is vegan, and so I was like, I'll give those a shot. I mean,
vegan tacos are good, but I just the sweet potato in a taco is doesn't. I don't like sweet potato. I don't like yams or.
I'll tell you. don't get me started on sweet potato fries. Those are just colossal bullshit, I think.
Yeah. You don't, you're not happy with them.
No, not at all. My dog likes sweet potatoes. Speaking of
dogs do like sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Like pumpkin, sweet potato.
It's good for their pipes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't rush back. I mean, I would probably, order something different next time.
Yeah. And just walk at a leisurely pace.
Yeah. Just, whenever I get there.
Back there. Right.
Plenty of seating.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I had.
All right, Dave. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope I did all right.
Well, we'll run it by the labs and we'll see what they say.
Yeah, see what the charts come out with.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a Headgum podcast.